Hey guys, this is OK.Fishing. I'm Christian.
I'm Zane.
And I'm Jaden, and welcome to Echoes in the Timber.
So today we got hopefully a good one for you. This is episode 5. I'd say we're making it,
Yep, so far.
Guest, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Well, my name is Zane, and I'm the OK.Fishing original cousin. And I'm from southern Alabama, about 5 minutes from the Florida border. And fishing is my favorite thing to do. And so these two fellows asked me to come on here.
Yeah, so we're hoping for some fresh input. He's fishes completely different waters
Yeah,
than us.
completely. That's why I mentioned that, because
And
it's completely different.
and so there's a lot of things that go into it, like fishing brackish waters and stuff. Freshwater might be somewhat close, but you got freaking snakeheads down there, so well, maybe
Well,
not.
we have bowfin. They're a natural species.
Bowfin.
You got to go a little bit farther south into Florida to get to the invasive snakehead, but in the panhandle of Florida and southern Alabama, there's native bowfin,
Okay.
and there's pickerel and other stuff, and
What kind of pickles? Like dill
pickerel.
pickles
No,
or?
pickerel, chain pickerel.
No,
So
I
there's
I heard you.
it's like a species. It's a subspecies of the northern pike. There's a grass pickerel, a regular pickerel, and we also have Florida gar.
So do they taste like a dill pickle or like a hamburger pickle?
Uh, a spicy pickle.
Okay, spicy pickle.
Usually
Yeah.
toothy.
Yeah, no, they're very toothy. You cannot put your fingers in their mouth. They're a little pike.
So let's get into our first segment. This is Backwoods Bulletin. So we got something. Lake Eufaula and Lake Itoka have reduced their crappie limit from 37 to 20. So what this means is you're now allowed 20 combined black and white crappie. So not 20 black crappie and 20 white crappie, but 20 combined. So you can't. They've reduced the limit quite a bit. Maybe over harvesting. Maybe they're not stocking as much. I don't know the full reasons behind it, but that's something you guys need to know if you fish those lakes. And now non-residents have to wait 2 days for a license. So if you're going to order one, make sure you order it a week or two in advance so you don't have to wait. Because if you come down here and have 3 days to fish and order it at a gas station,
Gonna suck.
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, maybe a day of fishing if you get it in time.
Yeah. But something else is starting to spawn in the water.
Yep.
There's a full moon coming, bluegill,
Yeah, some bluegill are going to spawn.
and catfish.
Some good old tasty cats. So it's time to wet the lines. Stop thinking, hey, we can't. You ain't a good day to go catfishing. But with this flood water, everywhere's flooded. Everywhere.
Those catfish
Go,
gonna be moving in that flooded area.
yeah, go catch you some cats. They
They're
taste
gonna be
good.
shallow. They're gonna
They're
get up in there.
they fun to catch.
They've been in like 5 to 8 foot of waters where
Yeah,
we've been
they'll
finding them.
wherever. I mean, boat ramps flooded. They'll be above the boat ramp.
Yeah, and,
They'll be in there.
and we're reaching peak noodling season. So if you're a noodler, then
If you're crazy,
yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah.
But
Or maybe you're
I'll
more of
get
a
in there.
man. If you noodle, you're more of a man than any of us, I guess. Props to you.
Yeah, I want to do some noodling, but it ain't got really a good spot.
I could take you
Dude,
to a couple.
have you done it?
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess you're the man I'm talking about.
I've
Crazy.
been noodling, but never
I've
caught
done it
one.
a couple of times and never got any really big ones. I think the biggest one's probably about 15, but
Does it count?
still get bit.
Hey, does it count as noodling when I was getting bit by that catfish the other day, getting that jug out?
Where was it biting?
Dude was biting my
Anywhere it
hand.
can.
He was biting my hand.
Yeah.
He was clamping down. I was like, dude, stop it. I was slapping the water, remember?
Dude, sometimes they really that hurt.
It was attached to a jug line tangled in the trees. And
I
still
couldn't
kept
see
attacking
it, so he was
Christian.
just coming and biting my hand while I'm trying to free him. Like, dude, I'm trying to free you. Now, you might be going in some oil, but hey, that's not what's happening then. I'm freeing you, man. But, let's get into our next segment. Catch of the week. And we have one for you, Jaden, if you want to start us off.
Well, me, Christian, and a couple of other friends went out and we were jug fishing. And we noticed some blow ups on the water we heard it at first, and then we started seeing it. So Christian throws his umbrella rig over there, and first cast doubles up. So we all start throwing over there, and pretty much from there you couldn't keep hybrids off the line. It was probably what 4 hours of just nonstop.
Non-stop
I don't
fun.
know. Were we there for 4 hours?
We got there like 8 something in the morning.
Yeah, but we put jug. It took us a minute to put out jug lines and
I think we
everything.
fished. We left at almost 2.
Yeah, it might have been 4 hours. Might have been more like two or I don't know. I don't know the exact specifics, but it was over 40 fish that we caught. So it was pretty good, and there was those big ones. There was four that were over 3, so they were pretty good. From what was that one? First one I caught was 3.4, and then the biggest was 3.78. So, but that was fun. We would have caught 6, but Jaden, it's actually his fault both times. Let's be honest.
So lost an umbrella rig to a fish, and we lost one trying to put it in the boat.
So guys,
We fought for a net, couldn't get a net, and like an idiot, I grabbed the umbrella rig, and the fish shook its head right back into the water.
yeah,
Just watched it sink.
yeah, and both those probably would have been bigger than the biggest one, right?
Yeah, probably, definitely.
Especially
That
that
one
one
that
that broke you off.
that one that broke off definitely would have probably been bigger than the 3.7.
But our catch of the week, we got into that big mess and really was fun. It was nice to find him. I wish I could have got back out there, but had some boat issues. But I really enjoyed it and was a great experience for learning about umbrella rigs. I've got to catch some, but not like that. I didn't set down my pole. The only time I'll set down my pole is because I was stuck as the driver and the anchor man because nobody wanted to stop catching fish. But we needed to anchor down. But
Yeah, we'd pull
oh
up.
well.
I pulled up the anchor, and we left it to Christian because he was the one with the miracles pulling out my umbrella rig attached to the anchor.
Yeah, I pulled up the anchor and
I
his
was
umbrella
hoping if
rig
you
was
kept
on.
pulling up the anchor rope, you'd find it a second time.
Moral of the story: that boy ain't right.
That sounds about right.
That's the moral of the story. Y'all are not right.
But
Y'all got lucky. Y'all got into him.
we got into him, and we hope we can find him again. I think the thing is, you guys just need to go out and you need to look for those massive shad blowups because that's what we did. We saw it blowing up and we cast it. You're looking for those kind of things. That's how you catch the fish, not by sitting and staring at a screen. You look for birds. You look for shad
Birds,
blowing
yep.
up, and uh, you you also one thing you can do: throw your cast net out, see what color the shad that are getting blown up are. Find something that matches it and throw that. Sometimes they're hitting something more top water and just kind of make it match and make it match in where they're hitting too, and that's how you'll catch them. Like I think you said you've done some topwater fishing. You talk about that a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
You the reality of this fishing deal, going out on the lake wherever you live across the country, and you see these shad blowups. I mean, whether it's smallmouth on the Great Lakes or down south or over here, in Arizona, in those desert lakes or here. When the fish blow up like that, the reality of fishing is every time you go out, you're not going to find those schools, but those schools have patterns. Sometimes, if you go about the same spot, same time, those schools you'll catch the same amount of fish, and those schools will be there at the same time at another day. And you have to pay attention. You have to find that. And the reality is, you can go out several days in a row and you might not find them. And that seventh time you went out, you found them. You got into those 40 fish. You got into those hybrids, and you happen to have the right lure. When you see that blow up, a topwater whopper plopper works great. And in their case, they're using umbrella rigs, which is really, I mean, a good way to do it, and it worked.
Yeah, one thing
So
I did notice is they were biting my umbrella rig a lot on the fall. I would kind of reel it in and I would kind of stop reeling and like those bigger ones were like hitting it as soon as it landed, but like the a lot of them that I caught, I was reeling at like a medium speed, and I just let it fall a little bit. And as soon as I got back on the reel, I had fish on, and so I don't know if that bait fish just dropping down, getting to the right water level, or what was happening, but I don't know. You were just pulling yours in, or were you jigging it up and down, or?
So pretty much same as you, letting it fall, and sometimes as soon as it was hitting it, like the first initial sinking of it,
Yeah.
they were hitting it,
Yeah, they were.
They're just in there waiting for something.
Oh yeah, and I was waiting for them. That's for sure.
and it was pretty lure specific too. Like
Yeah, I mean, definitely have a couple rods tied up with different lures when you're catching them like that, because when you're catching them, you don't want to tie off, and you're gonna, you could have caught a fish in the time you change your lure. So you got to definitely bring a couple rods, different stuff.
It's
They
it's
happened at the umbrella rig that day. It
it's
just
funny you say that. I had one rod with me. I'm not even
you
joking,
see
man. I
that
just
that's
brought that.
that day, something as simple as a color change was making a big
Yeah, when
yeah. I
we
difference.
mean, you
So
really gotta.
like Christian had those swim baits, and they kept after a few fish they would tear it in half, and once we ran out of those swim baits, it was like they wanted that exact color. As I
Yeah,
put that one that was similar color, but it was just lighter than the one we were using, and caught one fish the whole time I used it.
yeah.
And
Maybe
then
I need to go buy more of those. I could probably order it off Bass Pro website.
Dude,
See how
y'all
much they
try those
cost.
whopper ploppers. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
a
we've.
silver shad whopper plopper will work
I've.
anywhere.
That's what I have. I have one that I use for out at that pond, and
Yeah,
you get into them, man. The whopper ploppers are fun.
because at that point it's just the action and the placement. It doesn't really they're not paying attention to the color of the whopper plopper. It's the action
I threw a
and the
popper,
way the shad are
and
moving. And
when we got on top of them, remember that time on Pumpback they were blowing up, and
yeah,
I threw a popper and wasn't. I threw everything in my tackle box and wasn't even able to catch them. It sucked.
they're and sometimes they'll hit a rattle trap and not a topwater or a swim bait.
Yeah,
Sometimes they want a rattle trap. Sand bass will do it.
yeah. Oh yeah,
They'll do it.
they love them rattle traps. But let's go straight into gear of the week since we're already on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of this,
And remember, we are not sponsored by these. We are just fishermen, and we're trying to recommend you guys something that will improve your day. Hopefully, not break the bank, because we're budget fishermen at the end of the day. We're we're trying to help you guys. You guys don't have a lot of money, and we might have money to spend on some nice setups, but we're not necessarily going to recommend those just because our audience and a lot of audience fishing, they have a lot of expenses, you know. Um,
it's a good
and
thing to get
this,
into.
the reason I'm starting with that is because this is expensive for a fishing lure.
Yeah.
It is not cheap. You're talking $18 for this. The jigs sucked, so I replaced them with these better jigs. So I spent probably an extra. Let's see, that thing's like $3.50 for 10 of them. So an
And that's
extra a
6 cents
dollar,
too, so that's probably a more
a
expensive
dollar
umbrella
something.
rig.
Yeah, and then this is about $3 for three of them. So, or yeah, so that's man, that's a dollar for that jig. It might be two something for it, but yeah, that's you're talking about $22 for all this. That's not a fun lure to buy, but I have absolutely loved them. I haven't had much issues with the blades breaking, the wires. I haven't had them break on fish yet. Um, they have broke on me, but that was because of my stupidity, and that wasn't a fish breaking it. So let's hope it won't break off on a fish. The knots can break off. Tie a good knot. That's a reminder.
yeah, those things range from 18 to $250 depending on the umbrella rig you buy.
Yeah, there's some at Bass Pro that are like those live ones that are like
Yeah.
$50. Man.
I mean, you're presenting a ball of bait,
Yeah.
so I mean, you could catch one fish, you could catch more than one fish, so you kind of have an advantage over one lure. But at the same time, you could scare fish off. You don't really know.
Oh yeah, you definitely can,
I
especially when
mean,
you're talking about smaller
yeah,
groups
I
of
mean,
fish.
small, yeah, this big splash in the water. They might not even hit that. They might want the single swim jig.
Yeah, but this is what I'm
But it
telling you
works.
guys. Reason we're recommending it, we have used a lot of stuff, and we want to help you guys out so you catch a fish. We want to recommend something that we don't think you could use and actually have success with it. You might need specific scenarios to find success, but we need, like last week, we were recommending knives. We're not sponsored. We're just trying to help you guys out. We know what it's like reading reviews upon reviews on Amazon. You don't know if those guys were paid by the company. And then you look at YouTubers. You don't know if those YouTubers were secretly taking money from that company recommending all these brands. You know? You never know. And you just need to be aware of the things you can. So we try and give you a natural look, recommend a variety of things. But that's our gear on the table, and I will definitely say you guys definitely need the right setup for it.
Yeah, you're gonna need a stiffer rod. You're gonna have to set your drag tighter.
I got a good old medium heavy. In fact, I've never had this. You know that bass I caught? It didn't even pull drag. That on this reel. I mean,
Yeah.
I have my drag where I can pull it, but that I hooked into one of those sand bass, and I don't know how, but he was pulling drag. I've never had that much drag pulled on my reel. I thought I loosened it off, and then I went to pull it, and it was the exact same. But yeah, you need a good setup like this. This really, you need a good rod.
Yeah, the rod.
Hopefully a bait caster.
Because you're gonna feel like you have a fish on there already if you don't even have a stiff rod with an umbrella rig.
Yeah.
So you need a stiff rod.
Yeah. I noticed when I was using it yesterday, kind of bouncing off a bunch of shad. All that shad that we cast into, you could actually feel the umbrella rig
Scraping
just
through 'em.
hitting him.
Oh man.
That was kind of nice to have that kind.
There was that. Y'all really got into them, man.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, 40 sand bass, hybrids, big old catfish, big bass.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because I was looking and my grandpa said show them because I had these two little kids over at my house. They're our little cousins, but they my grandpa was saying show them what a sand bass looked like. So I was like, okay. So I started digging through the fish trying to find a sand bass. There was so many there. I looked at probably 10 of them or more, and I couldn't find a sand bass. So I don't know if I'm sure we did catch one, but all of them practically were hybrids, which means we almost caught three people's limits because you're allowed 15.
Sierra caught that small one, but it was probably.
Yeah.
I think we turned it loose actually. I think it's one of the ones that got turned loose.
It's kind of crazy though that hybrids don't reproduce. I literally only learned that like this year.
Yeah.
Like, probably like.
That's why you don't
Yeah.
you don't find them, but in like the a lot closer to where they were stocked. Like the farthest I've found them is.
I think that's one of the reasons we found so many is because they stocked so many last year.
Oh yeah.
Like 124,000 hybrids alone.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was just in Hudson.
And some people complain about buying fishing license, but that's what those fishing license bought.
It's very important.
Is a bunch of stocked fish.
Oklahoma Fish and Wildlife does not get any budget from the state. It's a completely private equity. All the fishing license, all the hunting license, and all the money that donated, and all the volunteers goes to Oklahoma Fish and Wildlife. And it's important. It's very important because they don't get any state funding.
Not to mention, it's not just lining their pockets. It's going to things.
I mean, it's
specifically
for
to help.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
it protects Oklahoma. It sustains it.
Look at how many eagles are coming back and otters are coming back to Oklahoma.
I mean, I've been out to Lake Tenkiller, and in past 2 years, I've seen 2 different bald eagles.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're out there. They're here.
Yeah, and if you go down, where is it? You go down past that bend. Like instead of going left like we did that one day, you go right on Horseshoe Bend. There's like an eagle nest down there. There's like that island. Have you kayaked all the way out to the island?
Down to the left.
To the right.
Oh, to the right. Yeah, yeah. Whenever it feeds into the lake,
I saw an eagle nest down there, but it was yeah, that's nice to see some eagles, but
yes, fishing license. Don't complain. Very important.
Okay, guys. Now we're down to the main topic. We're gonna talk about what we like to throw for different different species here. And since we're on catfish spawning, I'll tell you guys this. I don't have a favorite one. I throw where I'm at. I throw what they're eating. I'm gonna be honest. If I throw my cast net and I catch a bunch of bluegill, I'm not gonna throw shad. Because if there's a bunch of bluegill, there's no shad for them to eat. So why would they be eating shad? If I throw it, I catch a bunch of shad. I'm throwing shad. It's as simple as that. What your cast net catches, what there's more of, is what they're going to be eating. You know? So,
Yeah, matching the hatch. That's what they say, isn't it?
yeah,
Match a
matching the
hatch.
hatch.
Match a hatch.
Match the hatch.
That's their advertisement.
What about you guys? What do you use for catfishing?
So same thing as you, just whatever there's a more abundance of bait wise, like pretty much once you find the bait, whatever there's more of is what the catfish are gonna be eating that day. So if there's lots of shad, probably should throw shad. Like you can catch a bunch of shad, and if you catch a couple of bluegill, you throw those bluegill, chances are they're not gonna eat that. So and
Yeah.
it could flip when you catch more bluegill. So just really whatever there's more of that day, that's what they're gonna be eating.
That's what happened when we caught all those catfish that night at Mouths of Spring Creek. Those bluegills weren't working. They wanted the shad. Sometimes they want a whole little shad. They don't want to cut shad.
And sometimes
And
they want a leftover French fry.
oh yeah. I thought yeah. We go out. We're fishing. This is a funny story. What we you were trying to we didn't catch any bait with the cast net, right?
No
Or
bait.
what was it? There was no bait, and I was like, let's see what we're gonna do. So I went my leftovers, and I got a greasy seasoned fry from Applebee's, and I knew it was gonna work because catfish. I mean, I just knew that thing was gonna work. I threw it out there. Everybody's like, oh, whatever, whatever. I said, if I catch this fish, Christian's gay. I caught that fish. Guess what? I screamed Christian was gay all the way. Hooray! That was a very good night. I
Yeah,
mean, really, it was a fun night.
yeah, and you caught it pretty
I
quickly too.
did. It was just really funny. I mean, it was a good night. So, what are y'all talking about? Specific lures for catfish, though?
Yeah, baits. You know.
Where I live, I use shrimp.
Yeah.
I use a piece of shrimp and I throw it out on the bottom with a Carolina rig, and you tear up the catfish. But you don't just catch catfish. You can't. I mean, you could target catfish, but I've only really targeted catfish here.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I catch catfish on the Chippewa River, it's shrimp, piece of
Yeah.
shrimp on bottom.
That's the good part about here is catfish are they eat trash. So
They're
you
garbage
throw
Yeah.
you
disposals.
throw a piece of trash, the catfish are gonna eat it. Other fish are a bit more fancy. Like they want something alive. Like
But
I've caught a largemouth bass on a live bluegill before that I was slow retrieving, and that's pretty fun.
That's what
I'd
I caught
recommend
my
that.
PB
I
on. His
really want to
blue.
do. That's one thing I've never done. Sending out a live bluegill out for a bass. I want to do that, especially in Cheesy Pond where I live.
I was
Oh
doing it
my
for
lord!
catfish, and I caught a bass.
If
Caught my
the Florida
PB.
State record is going to be in my name in 20 years, I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Give him two. He's got it.
Whatever it is, I'm going to do it. Whatever it takes, I'm finding that record. I'm looking.
So let's go. We let's go straight into sand bass. Do we want to separate sand bass and hybrid?
They're really the same thing. I mean,
Because
they
they
have the same
attack
behavior.
different
They
things.
school together though.
Yeah,
They have the same behavior.
but the question is because I use different things for one or the other. It seems to work better for one and maybe not the other.
Well, maybe you could use heavier line, heavier rod and reel for hybrids over sand
Yeah,
bass.
yeah. I think like I feel like I throw a lot more swim baits and like crankbaits for hybrids a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I catch if I'm catching hybrids a lot. That's what I've done it on big, like 2.5, 3 inch sassy shads before. They tear those things up like a big quarter-ounce jig and just sitting there and retrieving it. They tear those up. I guess hybrids just a bigger lure, so maybe kind of pretty much the same thing sand bass
Oh,
like, but just
Just
bigger
bigger.
presentation.
I've only ever caught them just throwing in with sand bass. Never really targeted them, but I guess they are
Yeah.
much bigger. I mean, they can get much bigger, so I guess a bigger swim bait would be more appetizing for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I've never targeted them, so I wouldn't know. I just caught them with sand bass.
I think what they do at Fort Gibson, they'll take like a they'll make like a floating rig, and then they'll take a weighted jig, kind of like what that's on, except they use like a 2 ounce jig,
Yeah, they
and
use like really long flukes.
yeah, they'll have it on that floating rig, so it's like 6 inches underwater or something, and they absolutely they just destroy
They
those
pretty much
giant
just
fish.
throw it out and hold their rod straight up and just jig it every now and then and just let
Yeah.
it sink back down.
And there's a bunch of hybrids in there
Hybrids, stripers, everything.
Yeah,
at
over
Fort Gibson Dam.
Yeah,
Fort Gibson
seems like
Dam and Kerr Dam.
seems like the
I've been hearing a lot about Fort Gibson Dam lately. I've fished out there before, but I don't like the people that go out there and it's nasty. I mean, if the game warden comes, I guarantee you, a quarter of them or half of them doesn't have a fishing license.
yeah it's
I mean, it's not a good place. That's
it,
why it's important to buy your fishing license. Oklahoma needs the money to sustain the fishery.
it's hit or miss down there. So some days you go down there and it's a ghost town, and then other
Oh
days
yeah,
you go down
there's
there
a
it's
party.
shoulder to
People
shoulder.
with babies out there and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that time I went there with my dad, shoulder to shoulder. My mom was like, "We should leave." I'm like, "They're catching fish. What are you talking about?" So we went down there. I got my dad on his first spoonbill in over 20 years. He hadn't caught one since I've been alive, so
Yeah, I
it
remember
was
you
worth
telling me
it.
that.
Like, it was worth it. You know, if I got him into one on low water, he probably would have died from a heart attack
Dude,
before he
that
landed
thing would he'd
it.
have slipped on the rock and fell in, dude. They'll pull you in.
Yeah, I would have needed to tie a rope to him.
it's
And
like towing in a car with a fishing rod down there.
yeah, no, you're not
Dude,
fighting the
I
fish. You're
fought
fighting.
one down there that I really I was using 65 pound braid, 65 pound braid, 100 pound braided surf rod, Penn Battalion. It's a 12 foot, and a Penn Fierce 8,000, right, with 30 pounds of drag. And I could not reel this thing in. I fought him for like 15 minutes. My legs were shaking. They were holding me in. They were literally holding me back to keep me. I don't know how I held onto the rod. This fish just
Yeah,
I mean,
It
It
gets
was that
rough
day that
I
sometimes.
was literally shaking trying to hold this fish.
it was that
I mean, it was just.
it was that day that you and JC were there on the end. Remember, I was fishing with you, and then when they got there, I went back
Oh,
down
so
with
were you
them.
there when I hooked into that fish?
You know, I may have been.
I was over there snagging. Remember? I don't know if you remember me over there snagging. I was
You
with
know,
Justin. I was with Justin over there.
I think
I was
so.
snagging over there. I saw JC hook into some. I didn't know what you looked like. Nobody pointed you out, but
Yeah, I think I do remember now.
I
But
I was fighting that thing. Everybody was looking at me fighting it too because I was just.
those things,
Oh my
every now and then
goodness.
you'll hook into one that'll have you down in the trenches,
No.
man.
Oh man.
It'll take you for the full war.
That one
I
I caught that day on that bait caster. That, oh my gosh, in that current, that was such a mistake. I should have never fished right there where we were at, and I had to walk that
Yeah, but
thing down.
you landed that. That was a feat.
Yeah, because I had to walk him down. That was the only way I was going to. Because that current, it's swirling there. I don't know how to explain it. So
Yeah,
it
in
makes
that
the
little
current
pool.
real hard or something. While down farther down,
It's
the
like
current's
it
not as.
comes over the rocks and splits off, so it like makes multiple current stretches in multiple directions.
Yeah, but I noticed, like when we're down there, you aim for the spots where there's backflow, and that's where you
Yeah.
catch them.
Yep.
Where it's kind of turning into backflow and pushing hard against it. But favorite lure? Okay, well let's go into sand bass. What's your favorite lure?
Uh, Probably Bobby Garland jigs.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably any of the shad style ones.
What about you?
Rooster tail, 1 6 ounce chartreuse, uh, gold spoon chartreuse. I forget what the color is, but just a rooster tail with a gold spoon and a neon tail, or a silver spoon with a red tail. That's what I like rooster tails.
I really like the jigs, and you get those soft plastics with an auger tail. Although all of the good colors I had,
Actually, let me see what
I've
it's called.
completely ran out. You know the auger tail? It's like the
Yeah.
thin plastic. That's my favorite. I guess we'll ignore hybrids, but let's go straight into largemouth. I've used a lot of different things for largemouth, and I've caught largemouth on a lot of different things. But I have one lure that stands above the rest because even if I'm not catching
Which one is
anything,
it?
That one.
Yeah.
That one right there.
oh yeah,
I'm telling you
the
guys, go
one
out
with
and
the
buy that one.
scales,
Go out and buy that one. You'll
hexagons.
catch them.
It
Telling you.
kills with trout
I'm
too.
telling you. It anything. Telling you, go out and buy that.
Rooster tail is
They
like
got it at Bass Pro
the
Walmart.
like the like love all bait. Like you
No,
can catch
you can
every
catch catfish.
species.
You can catch catfish on them. You can catch. I mean,
Yeah, and if you're Justin, you can catch you catch catfish and what all did he catch?
I've caught.
Sunfish. Do
Yeah,
you
I've caught.
remember
Yeah,
that?
I've got a picture
But
of it.
remember that day that we were catching sand bass and he caught
He
like
caught.
one sand bass,
Yeah,
a
he caught
cat.
one
He
sand bass
caught
and
two
two
catfish
catfish,
and
and with the rooster tail.
a sunfish. Like while we were catching sand bass.
Everything
Yeah,
but what
I
you're
mean
targeting.
I've caught bluegill, green sunfish, red ear,
Yeah.
catfish. I mean anything will hit a rooster tail. You want to any body of water, you want to learn it throughout the U.S. You just throw a rooster tail. You want to learn it, just throw a rooster tail.
Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty good answer. But let's largemouth bass, Jaden. You get up to a nice spot. You pull out your rod. You tie on your
Top
favorite
water.
lure.
Any,
Top
Top
water.
water.
anything
Any
top
top
water.
water?
Oh man, that's what you're a junkie.
I
That's what
like
they say.
I like it when they blow up on top water.
Yeah, you're a junkie.
Oh, that is
Probably my
ridiculous.
favorite would probably be a torpedo though.
Yeah.
Torpedo or a whopper plopper.
What about you, Zane?
I'm definitely just a dude. My bass fishing is a lot different than my bass fishing is very specific because I don't fish in water deeper than 30 feet. I've got cypress, I've got grass in the water, coontails, I've got lily pads. So I fish primarily wacky worms. I'll throw a wacky worm, either a 10.5 inch or a 6 inch. A six inch wacky worm will get smaller bass and larger bass, but when you throw a 10.5 inch worm, you're only catching big uns. I mean, straight toads. That's just my opinion. I love worms. I wouldn't throw anything else for a bass in the place that I fish. In shallow water, wacky worm does it. Any pond, wacky worm.
Yeah. So I have one lure that I absolutely love. Although I've found myself not catching fish with it, especially in recent years. I think the reason I fell in love with it is because I went to this pond and I was throwing everything I had and wasn't catching nothing. And I got to something. I had a really sensitive rod that I had got and loved this lure because you would reel it in and your whole hand is vibrating, almost like a weed eater, a chatterbait. That's what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
I tied that thing on and I caught like 8 largemouth in an hour, just sitting there throwing that thing. And I wish I could get permission to fish that pond again. In fact, I'm going to try to get permission for that pond because that was absolutely so much fun. But my answer is a chatterbait. I love chatterbaits because if I'm not catching anything with it, they're still ridiculously fun to throw. Now, is it my
Lot of
Yeah,
best
there can
lure?
be fun lures to throw. Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of options for trailers too. You
yeah.
can make it your
Yep.
own.
Crawdads. I like using crawdads. I use mostly swim baits like
Oh yeah.
Rage Swimmers and uh, Kitech. I use what is that called? Rapala is the brand I've been using, and it's another brand.
Specifically the Crush City ones.
Yamamoto. I've used Yamamoto swim baits.
The
But
Rapala shad wrap is another good one. Just looks like a shad. You can throw it anywhere, catch anything.
That's the one I got that looks like the
It's
bluegill.
it's just
I got one that's super detailed, looks like a
yep.
realistic bluegill.
yeah, but okay. We got largemouth. Whatever. What other fish are we talking about? Do you want to? Yeah, let's talk about bluegill because
Oh yeah.
that's
That's a
simple answer.
Popper flies.
Popperfly. I gotta give to it. You're giving
my
popperfly.
grandma says that.
So
My grandma says that.
What,
Popper flies, seriously.
Yeah.
She loves popper flies. She says the same thing.
We slay them in
my
his
answer:
pond.
live grasshoppers.
Live grasshoppers, I wouldn't touch the thing.
Live
No.
grasshoppers are so much fun. They sit there and they do all the action jumping on the water, and those little bluegill blow it
Oh man.
up, man. Like, it is crazy watching those little fish blow it up. And then you got really light rods, a really light line, and it's an actual
Hmm.
fight. Like, that's what I love.
You got to make it fair with the fish. Use the correct equipment. And pound for
Yeah.
pound, bluegill fight harder, in my opinion, than any other freshwater fish.
Yeah, so if you're going to target bluegill, I'd recommend a meat hunter heavy rod with a pin 8000.
Yeah, yeah, what? Yeah, yeah, yep. Hmm. Yep.
You better find some chain for line.
Yeah, yeah. The joke, the big old joke. Use a tuna rod for a bluegill.
Yeah, I need a tuna setup for the bluegill around
Yeah.
here. I remember, actually, I can say that story. Well, I don't know. I remember there was this spot at my pond. This might be embarrassing to tell, but I would hook into a monster fish, and I was like, it was rip and drag, and I could never catch it. And it broke off so many different times on this monster fish. And then we had a drought, and there was a giant rock right there where I'd always lose and break off.
Oh man.
It's a giant rock with
You know, I want to
live
call you
lures hanging
something
off
right
of it.
now. I want to call you something right now, but that's just you poop in the tank.
those were like
No man,
those were
dude.
like probably within the first 3 years of me living at this house that I was a little kid, and
That
you're
boy,
watching
right?
river monsters and your imagination just runs wild. Like, as a kid, you hook into, you don't think, this is right. You think, oh my
Yeah, dude. When I
gosh,
first started
it's a
fishing, I
giant
did that
fish.
too. I'd get stuck and I'd say, "Grandpa, I got a fish," and it'd be stuck.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he'd always say, uh, yeah, you got one.
I still do it as an adult.
Yeah, you
Sometimes
get. I got one. Yeah.
you bump a rock or
Yeah.
something hard enough, and you're like, "Oh, I got one."
And the
And
boat's
then,
moving, so it's pulling, and you think it's going, and you're.
how many times did we do that the other day with the hybrids? You throw it, and it's actually the umbrella rig scraping the
Yeah, I'm
bottom or
telling
Yeah.
you,
something.
Yeah,
yeah.
we get into 4 foot of water, you can really feel it.
Yeah, yeah.
You feel
Especially when you're using a crankbait and
you
that
feel
bill
a
hits the
hard
bottom, you
thud,
think
and
you
we're
get a
like,
hit.
"Oh, got a bite or something," and it turns
Yeah.
out it's not. We're like, it's pulling through a school of shad or something.
But for bluegill, I personally, some bluegill can feed on the bottom or in the middle. Where I live, they call them stump knockers or shell cracker. So I use a size 4 split shot and a size 6 hook about that far, and actually fish on bottom for bluegill, which is a lot different than what normally people do. Usually they use bobbers or they throw little jigs and stuff, light line, like little swim baits because they're aggressive. But I personally think, and I've even caught them here, Stillwell 10 killer
Yeah.
fishing on bottom 10 killer lake, Fort Gibson. I've caught them at Fort Gibson 10 killer. Um, Even at Horseshoe Bend, just using a split shot on the bottom, couple 6 inches off, and you put a big old chunky worm on there, you'll tear them up. I'm telling you, especially when they're spawning. But sometimes you have to put a bobber on because sometimes they're not feeding on the bottom. So bluegill,
Yeah,
they're just like other fish.
I like if I'm gonna throw a worm, I'll do no bobber, no weight, and just
Oh,
a
like
bare
That's
that?
what
hook,
Really?
Sierra
a
does.
bare
Really?
hook, and you cast it out there, and it just slowly falls. Basically, a wacky rig
Yeah.
with a live worm,
Yeah.
and it slowly falls.
And
And
they
those
tear it up.
bluegill,
I
I
bet they
mean,
do.
Sierra won't use a bobber with bluegill or anything. She
yeah,
only uses a split shot and a hook.
I'm telling you.
She was slaying
I'm telling
sand
you.
bass, hybrids, everything the other day
You
on
just
just a
yeah.
split shot
and
and
I'm
night
And
telling
then
crawler.
you,
yesterday
it's a
she
good.
wasn't catching nothing. I was like, how is she not like none of? I understand us not catching anything, but how is she not? Then I found out they forgot the worm. So
She forgot her worms.
I'm like,
If you can give her a worm, she's gonna catch a fish.
Well, dude, anytime you take a girl anywhere, that she catches the biggest fish in the water for whatever reason, and she doesn't know how she did it.
Her boy or her fiance, he's always wondering like, how does she do that with just worms?
That's what happens when you take a girl
We're
fishing.
all over there throwing umbrella rigs and stuff, night crawler, just and they're still catching them. Like, come on.
yeah,
Oh, but that's something else. Bluegills sometimes they want the juicy worm. They don't like those little worms you buy from Walmart in the packet. Sometimes those dry worms that are sitting in that little package at Walmart. Those worms might not even get the bluegill to go. Digging something up near them might get them to go, or a big juicy night crawler. I mean, they don't always hit the worms you buy at the store. They don't.
so while we're on it, let's go into like really small creek channels? Do you guys fish that very often? You do.
Yeah, I
know
do.
that.
I do.
Like around here, really small creek channels. Like I'll go, and my favorite lure, specifically targeting, we call them brownies around here. They're smallmouth bass, but they're just so small that they smallmouth bass might be able to eat one. But because
Yeah.
they're
like a pound or
they're like
less.
Yeah.
this, but they call a lot of them call them brownies. I don't know if you've heard.
I've heard
Yeah,
of that. Yeah.
but I love a rebel teeny craw, and anything in a creek around here. If you have a rebel teeny craw, you'll catch bluegill. I caught some creek chub the other day. I caught some brownies, and green. I noticed green sunfish are one of the most aggressive
Oh,
out of the
they are.
sunfish.
They are.
I catch a lot of those with it. If I'm gonna catch any sunfish, it's usually a green sunfish.
You ever catch warmouth in these creeks?
He did.
I've
Just the
seen
other
I
day
catch a lot
in
of
my
warmouth.
pond.
Oh, there's warmouth in your pond?
I didn't even know there was
Yeah, we
warmouth
didn't-
in my pond.
That
We
must have
didn't know.
been bird foul, like poop. Bringing the.
I almost think maybe a couple years ago I may have put one in the pond or something without realizing it. That or maybe they're just
Well, those
a
warmouth will
small
breed with
enough
the sunfish.
population. Yeah, and it looked like
Oh.
he looked like a bass.
Like a
Yeah,
bass.
yeah, I know.
hybrid
Yeah,
kind of
they
thing.
do
It
that.
had a big
Bass
Yeah,
mouth.
green-
yeah.
Greenfish.
There's a pond right next to my house. They do the same. Those sunfish and those and the warm. It's like you caught. It's like you caught a weird looking bass because they're just. They're
It was like a
yeah.
like a bass, but like had the bluegill
Yeah,
body.
it had like
had
but
the
it
big
had a
mouth.
mouth. Its head and its mouth was a bass. It's really cool.
Had
Yeah.
had really weird markings on it, like a kind of like almost like a
Rock bass.
smallmouth bass, kind of like the markings on the head and stuff.
Yeah.
Had some weird head
I
markings.
forgot. What did you catch that on?
Popper fly.
A popper fly?
Yeah.
That'll. Well, that's the majority
I
of how
thought that
those
was
fish
the one
feed.
in the challenge. That was the one from the challenge.
Yeah, that
you
was
caught.
the one. What was that?
Oh, it was a
Crappie Max,
little
spinner.
spinner bait.
It's a Crappie Max mini spinnerbait. It's a red and chartreuse.
Yeah. What's another? I mean, spoonbill. I like to use zooplankton.
Yeah, we like to freeze ice cubes with plankton and hooks.
What? I mean, do y'all target? Y'all got smallmouth here. Do y'all target smallmouth?
Um,
Because we
I
don't have
in
smallmouth really, unless you go
creeks.
farther north.
In creeks, I target them, but like
And they have them in 10 kilo.
they have
in the
Yeah,
lower
supposedly
10
have
killers.
them in
Yeah,
10 killer.
10 killers getting to be a smallmouth
They're
lake.
they're one of those things that they're kind of like crappie. They're a little harder to find unless you really
Yeah.
know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
They say if you want to catch them, you go to the Upper Illinois.
Like they kill
And,
them on like fly rods and everything
Um,
down
Yeah.
there.
I got a magazine.
I've caught them in
Uh,
Pettit Bay.
It was either 2 months. It was either a month ago or 3 months ago. I get each issue from Oklahoma, and these two guys from Oklahoma, they went and they took a canoe on the Illinois River, and caught some really beautiful smallmouth bass, and they were throwing jigs with swim baits, and well, they were throwing one other thing. I think a Texas rig crawfish.
Some people
Is
were
what they're
catching
throwing.
really good ones on those a Texas rig, like a 16-inch long lizard, like those really long soft plastic lizards.
man.
16-inch.
Yeah, they're like this long. Crazy
Man,
long.
I thought my 10.5-inch worm was insane.
Yeah,
That's
they're-
insane
They're ridiculously sized, but they were catching
for smallmouth.
Yeah, really good sized
Sheesh.
smallmouth.
Yeah, I think the lizards I have are 10 inches, which I've caught stuff
It's actually
on. But
10-inch, really?
the guide
yeah,
service.
they're just soft plastic
It's
lizards.
It's not natural though. You guys don't have any lizards that get that big, but they still probably eat them.
Well, it's because it looks fun.
Yeah,
it has a
I think
bunch
it's
of
more-
it still
arms.
triggers their
I think it's
crazy
more of a
action.
reactive
yeah. It's more of a
bite.
react. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, well,
But
all of
it's
it is,
actually
yeah.
the guy that does all the trout fishing down there at the Lower Illinois. He was the one. He took a bunch of people out, and that's what they were catching on was lizards.
Wow,
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, like the.
Wow.
I think the Zoom brand lizards are
I
what they were
actually
using.
never even used.
I
a
need to
lizard.
find one.
I just don't. I don't
Texas
think they
rig?
work any better.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll show you the video after
that's
the
a heck of a
podcast.
Texas rig. How big of a bullet weight do you got to use for that?
I think he was using 1 ounce. 1 ounce or half ounce or something like that.
1 ounce bull, dude. I use like quarter
Yeah,
ounce
quarter
and
ounce. Yeah.
3/8 ounce.
It
Like
it's about that big around at the base of them.
1 ounce. Holy
So what are they
crap.
doing? Just jigging it off the bottom then?
Pretty much, yeah. Just any like normal
It's
Texas
heavier
rig.
because of the current, and you just jig it on the bottom.
They're in rafts, so I don't know how they're quite doing it out of the raft. So they
Oh.
may have some kind of special technique.
Yeah.
doing it
Yeah,
out
they
of that
might be able
raft.
to just bounce it off, and as the raft's moving, they're just bouncing
yeah,
it
They
off
just
the
might be
bouncing
bottom.
able
it,
to
and it's
just
just
throw behind the raft, and as the raft travels along,
drift.
just
Yeah.
kind of bounce it along.
I know I made that joke about spoonbill, favorite lure. How about favorite fishing technique? Since maybe not a lure, kind of. Do you like to? Because we were at the wall. Did you really like to jig it up and down, or would you rather cast it out and pull it in?
I'm crazy. I'd rather cast it and pull it in.
Me too.
I like the
100%.
challenge.
I like the challenge, especially you land on top of one at when you cast, and you cast 200 yards out, and you have to fight it from the very end. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
people say, fishing isn't a sport. Go ahead and go try and catch a spoonbill, okay? Go try and catch a spoonbill.
Yeah, and if you don't lose a couple pounds,
Yeah. Tell me if you don't get a workout by the
It's
end
not
of
even
it.
just
Even
that.
if you don't catch one, just swinging that rod for a
Yeah,
couple hours,
yeah. I
you're
mean,
getting a workout.
yeah, you are. And even getting into good drum or catfish, I mean, it'll wear you out. Fishing will wear you out. Those fish fight hard.
oh yeah.
It'll wear your hand out, especially if you're using a light rod and catching a bunch of sand bass or hybrids. It'll wear your wrist out because you're sitting there holding it and they're just pulling it down.
Yeah.
I mean, fishing is very, very selective.
Mine and Paul, we were both complaining about our thumbs
Yeah,
cramping up
I
the
mean,
other
I'm telling
day.
Yeah, they've been using bait casters recently.
you know where you hold your rod right here?
Yeah.
You know, the pressure from holding your rod with your fingers, that'll start to hurt too. But when you have the adrenaline of the fish, you don't notice it until afterwards.
When I first learned a bait caster, I kind of learned to uh, cast it, but thumb up, and then come back down. But recently, they've always talked about putting thumb, but I feel like I lose a lot of distance. But with that umbrella rig, if I don't keep my thumb just kind of slightly hovering it and keep my eyes on that lure, you're catching a tree.
It's a disaster. It'll fly so much farther than you realize. Like, you think, oh, it's not a far cast. That thing literally
It's got a lot
flies
of
through
weight.
the air.
Yeah,
I've only ever trolled with umbrella rigs and 10 killer. I've had luck doing that.
We've thrown ours in a couple of trees, but we usually make the boat chase it back down. We're like, nope, not losing that.
the first time I witnessed a umbrella rig, I was at the mouth of Spring Creek Pokies, and this guy had a fish finder here. He had his trolling motor here on his boat, and it was pulling it forward, and he was just barely casting out, like maybe less than 20 foot in front of him, and just reeling it in. And then sometimes he'd miss him, but sometimes he'd catch him. So he was literally just spotting it like cheating. Live scope is cheating. We were talking about that. That's dude was literally just sitting there. Oh, there's a fish. Woo!
Yeah, you're sitting in 20
Got him.
feet of water. There's no way you're going to look at the water and know that there's a bed down there. You have to have a fish locator sonar. There's no way you would know.
I'll just put on a pair of goggles and dive on
Yeah,
down.
we're going to dive down there, see if there's fish bedding down there.
That's what I usually just dangle Christian by his ankles over the boat.
Go ahead and look down there. Are they down there?
Usually if Bubbles comes up, I usually know that there's fish down
Yeah.
there. It's him trying to scream, there's fish.
Ah!
That or pull me up, but usually there's a distinct sound. It's usually more of a gurgling when he wants back up.
Oh, yeah? But
So normally for our campfire question, we're taking one from the audience. Today we've taken a campfire question from our guest.
yeah,
Because
I guess I did give you
I
that
wanted
idea.
we needed something to ask, and we got him. Ask that question, man.
Weirdest fish we've caught. What's the weirdest fish you guys have caught? Like, weirdest fish. A lot of species of fish.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, even a weird fish,
Yeah.
a funky, misshapen. Sometimes you
You know,
catch largemouth and they're like,
there
they
was
got a big eye or.
there was that sand bass I caught the other day that we think it was bitten by a gar at an early age and it just never healed. But I feel like
Oh,
the
that one that had
yeah
that little dent in. Yeah, that's
the
a weird
weirdest
fish.
fish I've ever caught is the first time I caught a rock bass because I was so confused. I I cast out there with my it was my Rebel teeny craw. I'm reeling it in, and I catch that thing. I see it. I think it's a sunfish. I pull it up. I'm like,
What is it? Yeah.
what? What is this? I asked my grandpa. He looks at it. He's like, it's called. Well, I think there's another name for it, but he said it's a rock bass. He might have called it the other name, but there's another name for them. They're called rock bass, and they're called man. It
I
might
don't know
start
because
with a
I've
G.
never caught one. I always thought they were rock bass. I didn't.
It might start with a G. I think. I could search it up, but that's probably the weirdest fish because I just didn't know what it was. Uh, that was that was a pretty weird. I guess it
Yeah,
wasn't
that is.
weird, but it was like you know, you fished. That was like 2 years ago. So you're talking about I had let's see, 2 years ago I was 19. So you're talking about 16 years of fishing experience, and I didn't know what the fish was.
I've never
So
even caught a rock bass. I mean, I want to. They're very.
yeah, I caught one in. I've only caught them in Spring Creek, um, like
I want to
deep in the
catch one while
creek.
I'm here. You need to take me because I want to add it to my species list.
I want to see if I can get permission to go to this spot. If I can't, there is one spot we can go to, but it would be a hike
That's fine. I really want to
and
catch
probably
one.
leeches.
Leeches. Oh, I don't do
Yeah,
that. Nope.
that's
Yeah,
that
we don't know
spot.
about that one.
I don't know about that one.
That one is.
It's almost as bad as ticks, like water ticks.
I'd never gotten ticks until I came here.
Oh
Never,
man.
never gotten ticks till I came here.
Ticks are evil. I don't know why God made them.
Oh man.
I don't know
Last
why
year,
Noah saved them
last
on the
year
ark.
clearing hunting land, we got into a patch of them. You look down at your leg and you just see brown patches moving up your leg, and it's individual ticks by the
Oh no,
hundreds.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
this
no,
this one time
We
I was
took tape and just started just sticking
no,
them,
no, no,
just
no, no.
slamming tape on our legs
Dude,
and
I'd be
stuff.
freaking out.
this one time I was
Oh,
hiking
it
and
was.
got into a batch of seed ticks and just giant brown spots moving my legs. I've never run faster in my life. I ran probably almost a mile and got to a faucet and was washing them off me as best as I could. Like man, it was
Dude, those deer are
insane.
actually full of ticks.
Yeah,
Those deer are full of
especially right
ticks.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But Jane, what did you say your weirdest fish was?
So weirdest one, just a regular catfish, but it had no eyeballs. So I have no idea how it locates food
Do you have a
other than
picture of it?
I could look for it and I'll send it to Christian. But
Yeah.
so it was a blue cat, but it didn't have any eyeballs. It had eye sockets, but it was just like I don't know if something took its eyes out or what, but it didn't have any eyeballs inside its socket.
So it was just using them
Wow.
whiskers and
Yeah, that was my guess. It was just using its whiskers to find food.
Well, that's kind of their main deal is the scent and feel.
Like I released him honestly because I was like, he's lived this long that way.
Yeah.
I'd hate to take
How
him
big
out.
was he?
Not. He was probably two
Eh,
pounds.
Well, he was at least an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it was impressive he lived that long. So
Wow.
I figured I would give him another shot at it.
well, what about you?
Well, the weirdest fish I've caught, I don't know. I came up with the question and I didn't even know. um, I'm not really a well. I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself to be a well. Let's put it like this. Oh, I remember. All right, so I went on a snapper charter off the coast of Panama City. We're about 100 miles out, and I caught a. I don't even know what it's called. Honestly, it was a red. I think it's called a big eye red. It was like this big. It was a red snapper. Actually, let me get a picture of it. It was a red snapper, but his eye was this big, and he was little. It was like a miniature red snapper, and he was a different color, and his eye was. I think it's called a big eye snapper, and I caught him. Like I mean, I was fishing over 100 feet deep, and I caught him down there. on a piece of squid. But I think a big eye red snapper would probably be my weirdest fish. I mean, it was a weird looking fish. Let me get a picture of it actually. The perfect example of why this is a weird fish.
I think I want to catch a halibut. One of them ugly
I caught a
guys.
halibut when I was a kid. I have
Be
a
fun.
picture of it. There it is. Literally, look how weird this fish is. Look at it. Like look. That's it right there.
That's a weird fish.
Look. That right there, big eye snapper. I mean, I'm fishing for red snapper. I caught gag grouper, red grouper, but I mean, what is that? You know, I mean,
Looks like he's
look,
tasty though.
even in the picture, it's one of the most exotic, weirdest fish. Like this is what the guy's saying. I mean,
It looks pretty tasty.
the
Did you
guy,
eat
yeah,
him?
they wanted me to keep him. A couple other people kept him on their stringers, and I was like, why? I mean, that's the weirdest fish I've caught.
His eye is way too big for his head.
Look, people catch. I mean, they're just.
That's a weird. That's a weird
That's a
fish.
weird fish. I mean, I literally caught that. I never even I didn't even know what it was. Mine actually looked exactly like that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how mine. It was literally that size.
It's like a
So
giant marble for an eye.
yeah, that was And something else about them is they stand up. Their fins. You know how usually the fish's fins will fold into themselves
Yeah.
whenever and they'll fold. But his fins stayed strong, and you could stand him up on the side of the boat, and he was just standing there.
Oh, so
You
he
you could yeah, like his fins were holding him up, and he could stand there with. It's weird, really weird fish.
I don't trust animals that can stand. That's not supposed to stand.
It's weird fish.
Well, guys, thank you for watching episode 5, and I really enjoyed this talk today. Definitely discussed some good things, and I'm glad we're making it. We have plans soon to start posting on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. If you guys want to hear it on something else, let us know. We will try and get it posted, but we're going to get that eventually. Just in the process of getting everything set up. But I want you guys to know that we're loving this, and we hope you are too. And we want to see this go a long ways, and either way, we'll probably still be doing it.
Yep.
But thank you guys. Thank you for coming again. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
thank you
us.
guys for considering me a fisherman to be a part of this little gig here.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. So
Nice to bring somebody that does some different fishing than we do in different waters and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Christian, do we have anything else?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you. May your campfires burn bright.
May your adventures be worth telling.
And may the echoes in the timber always lead you home.
Amen.